Hello, beautifuls. So, I am dropping in to share with you a bit of my process. So, it's been maybe the past week or so leading up to my cycle. And my cycle, I've had a lot of spiraling thoughts, and these spiraling thoughts are mainly around my self-worth and mainly a lot of judgments and projections that I am projecting onto other people based on like how I think what they think of me or how they see me. So a lot of that has been coming up, and just in this moment, I fed into one thing, as it continues to arise, as it continues to come up. I fed into just one thing, and then I felt myself just like going into like all of these different thoughts, and then everything became this one thing. Everything became about like me not being good enough, me not being smart enough, me not, me being a burden. So and so much of this I've been working with for a long time, and I wanted to come on to really share with you that this is not something that just goes away like that. And maybe it really does. I do believe that there are, in some senses, forms of healing that this can occur. I really bring in this message of self-love, of self-compassion, of loving kindness to ourselves. And in these moments, I realize that yes, I've built up a loving sense of self. However, when there's new layers of what I've been holding on to, or perhaps there's a thought that I've pushed aside for a long time, eventually it comes to this point. And I'm at a point in my life where I do feel really stable, and this has been the perfect storm to allow this darkness to arise, to allow these shadows, what I really think of myself, to arise at this time, to see those insecurities and what keeps me from doing so much, what keeps me in the dark a lot of the time, what keeps me from doing what I want to do or feeling what I want to feel, is really these judgments and these things that arise that are completely connected to my emotions. And I'm on day 5 of my cycle, my menstrual cycle, and I'm just moving out of my inner winter and going into my inner spring, and just really seeing how, yes, tears are medicine and all of these things, like allow yourself to feel it, to heal it. Yes. And I believe that at some point, I've been holding on to this idea of needing it to be quick, not having the patience for it, seeing my tears as not as sacred as I believe them to be. And this is when these shadows, they almost go against your alignments, your core values, your beliefs, right? You're having this shadow of me really thinking that, like, oh, I'm crying too much. Oh, I'm doing this too much. Oh, I shouldn't be thinking this. But then that in itself is judgment. That in itself is creating shame and guilt and all of these really, lower frequency feelings that are just, you can get so stuck in them, right? That are really perpetuated and have been for so long, for generations. So really beginning to see that within myself and allowing it to arise is, causing me to take more time off to really be with myself, to really move through this, to not necessarily feel like I need to be somewhere that I'm not, to feel like that I need to be where I was. We're not here to try and be who we were, because who we were is running on programs that we are planning not to move forward with. Right? So starting to see these shadows come up, and this is what shadow work really is. It's just allowing these to come up, noticing those parts of you that do not feel in alignment to you, and to actually offer them space, actually allow yourself to feel them, actually get to know them and why they're there. Most of the time it's an aspect of ourselves that we get to look at, and there may be an opposing aspect. Like for me, there's that part of me that's like, no, we are so much better when we are not seen. No, it's so much better for me to stay hiding or or, like I will never be as good as this or that, or how am I, how could I even have this level of wisdom, this level of power, right? And then there's that other part of me that like is connected to my higher self, that trusts, that knows, that has this faith that is unshakable, right? And obviously these two are really going against each other. So looking at these two different parts of myself and really starting to have a conversation with each of them, really see what is truly behind what is happening here. And this is a really powerful practice that I highly suggest, and like doing it while you journal, working with a coach, guide, therapist in this way can be really helpful to be guided. I know that's been really helpful for me in the past, but I'm just really seeing so much with the time that I have, with the time that I've created for myself, with the slowing down, how much I'm still holding on to. And I really do see it as a blessing. Like I just came from crying and then turning this video on so that I could chat with you guys. And really it's to help me as well, because I'm not in a space where I have someone with me to like talk through this through, and I just didn't feel like journaling. I went into that space where I was like, no, I don't want to feed this, and we don't want to feed like what we feel is negative, what we feel isn't serving us. However, it does require the space, but not for us to feed into it. You can still offer it to be present and be there with you, and not give your energy to it by simply observing it, calling your higher self in, allowing yourself to like step back. And this can feel so difficult when the emotions get involved with the thoughts that we are experiencing and feeling, right? With the things that are arising within us. So this is such a wonderful time to begin to practice that, like in all of our practices, of observing our thoughts and of allowing these emotions to come through. Like instead of just labeling your emotions what they are and just like brushing it off, like really be present with them. Be present with them so that they can move and flow through, that your energy can move and flow through. And it's such a blessing when we are able to cry, when we are able to feel these things, right? So in my case, having an emotional charge to all of these thoughts, these judgments, the guilt, the shame that I'm placing on myself for all of these different things that like really just bring me down so much, you guys. It brings me down so much, and I almost like cry thinking about it, because it makes me sad that like, wow, I'm holding myself back in this way. But then there's another level of judgment and shame there, and guilt, right, of being like, oh, I don't want to hold myself back, but I'm holding myself back. And it's like this very victimhood type place of like feeling sorry for myself. So with that, in where I'm at right now, just really allowing myself to recognize that part of myself too, that loves myself so much that it's like, oh, I'm really sorry for you. But it's like that energy isn't helping me get anywhere. I'm just in this place of like, oh, I can't do anything about it. And that's almost like what this sorrow brings, right? It's like, oh, like there's this part of me and it's not being fixed. It's not being met. It's not being accepted. And it's really sad. Point blank done. Are those thoughts and those emotions and all of those judgments still piling up? Yes. So this is where I'm at right now when it comes to this layer, I like to call it, because there's been layers, and all the work that I've been doing there has been layers. And when you start to do this work with all aspects of your being, really the shadow work, inner child healing, all of this is just our personal development. This is our journey to liberating our own love for ourselves and for the world, right? And allowing ourselves to feel just more of who we are, like remembering who we really are. With all of this, you are going to meet very similar beliefs, thoughts, emotions along your path again and again, from a different standpoint, from a different point of view. And these are such teaching moments, right? And I'm seeing this as well, once again, that, okay, yes, I have not addressed that because all those judgments and those fears of like not knowing what I'm doing, right? All of these fears that are coming up, the imposter syndrome, everything, that's being like, no, it's so much safer to be in this place because we know this place. Like all of that coming up. And then now from a different standpoint, I'm seeing it like the buildup of it. I wanted so badly to just continue moving forward because I'm like, I'm feeling good. I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to let this negative thought go to waste, blah, blah, blah. And this is what like grounding into presence really offers us. When we allow ourselves to be present, we get to really work with what is here and now. And I think that when we're moving forward and planning and everything, which are great, wonderful things, we can easily get caught up with the, you know, the fast-paced motion of society, at least where I'm at in the US. It's very fast-paced, you know, there's always something going on, always something to see, always something to consume. We always need something happening. So in turn, me feeling like I needed to, you know, continue, you know, creating content and moving forward and doing the things that I love. I was feeding myself, but I wasn't actually being present with what was going on, what was building up inside of me. And this is why it becomes like emotional. You know, you start to feel it inward. You know, it's not just a thought pattern or a feeling in your aura. It is now an emotion, and then eventually it can also manifest as a physical ailment, a dis-ease in the body. So I'm so grateful that this is arising and that I'm having this chat with you right now. You simply being here, listening, reflecting, resonating, maybe not resonating, maybe just taking it all in has been really, really helpful for me, because I'm seeing that, you know, in hindsight, and this isn't hindsight, like, yes, I was just crying, but it is still in hindsight. This reflection is so important, and it's so wonderful. But now it's time to come back to like, okay, speaking to those parts of myself and really seeing, okay, how is it that I can bring myself into harmony, into deeper acceptance, into deeper love. So this is my journey right now. And this is what I'm working on. And every single time that I launch a program or a course or a ceremony with any specific intention, there's always a deep, beautiful lesson and initiation that comes along with it. And I feel that this is something I'm working through as I prepare this next round, the ceremonial coaching program, Liberate Love, which is ready and open for applications for 5 women. So if you feel called to be in a space, a sacred space, to do this work in ceremony with coaching, with energetic assistance, as well as just really diving deep into these things and, you know, working more personally on our lives throughout 4 months, then check it out in the description box below. Highly suggest checking it out. It is my signature program, and it sounds weird to say that because it's like, it really is my baby. Like, this is something that's birthed through me. It's something that I'm serving, this Liberate Love. So yes, it is teaching me always, and this journey home to the heart, this journey of bringing ourselves back to a space of love for ourselves and really recognizing these things is such a journey. And it doesn't necessarily have a destination where it's like, oh, we're completely and fully healed. And I pray that one day there will be a child out there that will not experience the traumas that we've had to experience, in order to learn these lessons, in order to you know, move through what it is that we're moving through as a collective. And yes, just all of the loving prayers to the children to come with this process, and maybe allow the energy to be more easily flowed through, because now we understand the essence of presence within ourselves and the importance of presence and connection, and really not losing sight of that. And it really feels almost like we need to sacrifice things in order to gain that level of perspective, but at the end of the day, it's like we're not sacrificing anything. We're really fueling ourselves so much deeper than we could ever know when we put our phones down, when we not check social media for some time, when we, you know, just allow ourselves a space and say no to things that are really just cutting into our time for ourselves, our self-love rituals and care, and saying yes to the things that may make us feel a little uncomfortable but really excited, so that we can really move forward, and just paving a new way that does feel liberating, that doesn't feel like we need to continue to hustle in order to experience the best life that we can. Find that for yourself. What is actually and fully, completely fueling you? And as you begin to set intentions, as you begin to ask questions, as you begin to receive guidance from yourself, your guides, vicariously through like videos like this, really honor the space, the experience that comes after. Because once you set this intention into motion, you are feeding this energy of change, of growth, to begin to show you in your reality where you can begin working on whatever it is that you were intending. So know that it isn't just like a simple moment. I led a womb healing ceremony today, and it's beautiful because in ceremony, yes, this work expands beyond time and space. And I think it's wonderful to remember that this energy that carries with you is continuing to work with you. This is you, you're the one going into ceremony with yourself, going as deep as, you would like to, as deep as you choose, as deep as you feel called to within that space. And the energy is still working. It's not just like a one and done, okay, I did a ceremony. It's all like that energy is still in motion. It's still flowing through. And it's important for us to integrate, to continue to work with it, to continue to move through it and not just leave it behind, right? Really still carrying those intentions and those actions toward these intentions, and this presence and this clarity and this opening, and just remembering that this energy carries out beyond just the ceremonial spaces, beyond just the circles, beyond just the events that you go to. It carries out. So the presence is needed always. It is here, it is now, that is all there is. So thank you for sitting with me and having this chat. Once again, please do like the video if this served you in any way. I would really appreciate it. And also comment down below. I would love to hear any of your reflections that arise. And like I said, if you'd like to be in a space with me and to grow with me, I have so much to share, and it really is such an initiation just holding these spaces, and it feels so incredibly divine. So I just feel really grateful to start to see these parts of me that are beginning to, come into deeper alignment, where I get to really offer and practice this more and more and more, so that I also am continuing to liberate my love. So everything's in the description box below. I hope to see you in another video.